раз добрый день, уважаемые коллеги, естественно, преподаватели, журналисты, наши гости, участники конференции. Я очень рада приветствовать вас здесь, на секции, которая будет посвящена визуальной информации, визуализации информации в экологической сфере.
Еще одно.
Без лишних слов
Я начну.
мне очень хотелось желать всем нам принять участие в очень интересной дискуссии. Я надеюсь, что мы услышим много вопросов. Каждый докладчик получит свою долю вашего внимания. Я предлагаю сразу же приступить к первому докладу. Первый гость Штефан Уджиге и его переводчик Камила Милатына, преподаватель нашего факультета.
Hi everyone, it's a great pleasure for me to speak to you today for this session on the visualization of environmental data. So thanks very much for the invitation. One of the conference organizers, Angelina Davidova, has asked me to speak about environmentalist info-wiz and data aesthetics of climate change. It's like a bit of a lecture I held at a journalist training for the World Wildlife Conference a couple of weeks ago in Scotland.
Мне очень приятно сегодня выступать перед вами. Ангелина Давыдова, один из организаторов конференции, попросила меня поговорить о визуализации информации. То, что касается экологической журналистики, хотя Штефан уже объяснил мне, что окружающую среду мы понимаем не только как природу, да, а то, что находится вокруг нас. Частично эта лекция он читал 2 недели назад во время семинара в Вопросы.
Figuring out how it. Okay, so I think my talk will last for. I was invited for like some sort of a lightning talk. I hope this is correct. So approximately like 15 or 20 minutes, just to give you some, ideas, inspirational ideas, and point you to relevant information, to resources you could use for research and deepen and broaden your vision, your knowledge on the topics environmental info-wiz.
Это не строго научный доклад. Я хочу с вами побеседовать открыто, легко, просто предоставить вам ссылки, источники, которые вы можете пользоваться в вашей работе. Если вам понадобится заниматься визуализацией информации в журналистике.
With a slightly different title. Yeah? I would rather suggest to call it the visualization of environmentalists' data, and I will tell you why in a moment.
Наша секция называется «Визуализация экологических и научных данных СМИ», но я немножко поменяю это название, и мы будем говорить о данных журналистов, которые мы будем визуализировать.
And that's because the interesting bit is that if you look at the history, the history of InfoWiz, the history of visualization, the irony is that a lot of the major discoveries, and the major inventions like the timeline, like data maps, like the merging between space and time in the narrative graphics, they have all been driven by environmental data. So environmental data is some sort of intrinsic factor in this whole genre of InfoWiz. So I'd rather call it environmentalist data, because it's basically what we are talking about is that we are talking about visualizations that should help us to communicate the ideas of environmentalism. Right?
Если вы посмотрите на историю, на то, как появлялись великие изобретения, вы поймете, что все было основано, в принципе, на визуализации неких данных. То есть визуализация помогает нам продвигать некие идеи и, соответственно, переходить к каким-то великим открытиям.
So I'll show you an example. Is what we might call the mother of all infographics.
Это мать всей инфографии.
And what you see is, does everyone know this infographic? Has everyone seen this chart? Yeah? So it's very, very famous. It's like you could call it the mother of infographics. And what it shows is, it's drawn by Charles Dinard. And it's what it shows is it's Napoleon's Russian campaign. Yeah?
Эта инфографика изображает русско-французскую войну, соответственно, завоевание Наполеона.
So what we can see here is, this is Napoleon's imperial army advancing towards Moscow, right?
Мы видим войну в виде количества войск, которые отправились из Франции на Москву.
And the black graph is like the army pulling out, and these are the remains basically. So here you can see this was the sheer size of the French army advancing towards Russia, and this is the bits that, you know, pulled out.
Вот эта черная тонкая линия, это войска уже, которые возвращаются из Москвы обратно во Францию.
But interestingly, what you can see here, it's like Kutuzov. I'm reading War and Peace at the moment. Very exciting book. Yeah, there's like Kutuzov drives them out. You know, the hero. And what you can see is the interesting bit about it is that here, down here, you have a temperature table. Yeah, there's a temperature table in Reaumur, and you can see this is the temperature drop, the temperature graph, and you can see how the temperature drop, how the graph corresponds with the losses of the French army.
Самое интересное, вот эта нижняя линия, которая показывает температуру во время вот этой военной кампании. Вы видите, что от этих данных, от конкретных точек, зависят потери французских войск.
Yeah, so it's like you could say like everywhere, war is like the father of all things. You know, it's like war is the universal language. It's the glue that holds the people together because everyone has war with everyone. You know?
Да, война это такой универсальный язык, поэтому очень легко объяснять именно на таких примерах.
I'm just making a joke. I'm not into war, but I just came across it because one of the most favorite names in our field in media science, Friedrich Kittler, who was a French, German media theoretician, has passed away just 2 days ago, and he wrote a lot about the intersections of war and media and mass media as a sort of war, like a propaganda. Yeah.
Я, в общем, не выступаю за войну, я просто хочу привести это все к каким-то научным выводам. Вот такой немецкий ученый Фридрих Китлер писал о взаимосвязи войны и средств массовой информации, о том, как это отображается.
Which gave rise to the idea that the other side, like the good side, like us, would be like the critical intelligentsia, would be what he called like the media guerrilla, and this media guerrilla should use all, fancy and the latest technology to get important messages through. And one of the most important messages in our times is, of course, environmental issues. Yeah?
С одной стороны, люди, которые делают эту войну, воюют, а с другой стороны, журналисты, средства массовой информации, которые посылают импульсы, идеи, выступают как некая такая критическая интеллектуальная элита, которая управляет информацией об этом.
So I've never been much of a fan of Friedrich Kittler. I'm much more related to a French guy, and his name is Bruno Latour. And I think his metaphor serves us best if we look at this talk, so today's topic. So Bruno Latour spoke about the so-called the Parliament of Things. The Parliament of Things. So he said, in recent times, it's not only important, that we create, in a representative democracy, we create a representation of the people's issues, but what we should also do is, we should represent things, because things cannot speak for themselves. So, to use an image, you all know the Internationale, it's not only about creating a representation or speaking or lending our voice for the wrenched of the earth, but for the wrenched earth as such.
Но я больше сторонник французского исследователя Бруно Латур и его метафоры, то, что называют парламент вещей. Он говорит о том, что в мире людей существует представительная демократия, в которой участвуют соответственно, мнения, точки зрения всех социальных, политических групп, а вещи окружающая среда не может говорить, у нее нет голоса. И вот необходимо делать эти голоса, то есть говорить от имени Земли, от имени природы, окружающей среды.
So why is that? Because the polluted air cannot speak for itself. Yeah? Or because the polluted sea cannot speak for itself. Yeah? Of course, it's some sort of, what we call a dialectical relationship. The Earth as such wouldn't need air, if there wouldn't be humans. So it's some sort of a dialectical relationship. It's also an intellectual joke, But at the same time, there's a very, very strong truth in it.
То есть загрязненный воздух, загрязненное море, они не могут ничего сказать, да, о том, что им плохо, ничего о себе сказать, но в этом есть диалектический подход. И воздух, и вода, и другие ресурсы нужны для самого человека. Поэтому здесь вот две стороны этого вопроса.
So, speaking about the wrenched of the earth and the wrenched earth as such, I want to show you this first project as an example. That uses infographics in a really, really brilliant way.
В качестве примера я приведу вот один замечательный проект.
So it's created by Jacob Hartman, and you can find it on visualizing.org. Like it's an interactive environment. I think it's Java-based, and what it does is it represents the biocapacity of the Earth, on an interactive map. And what you could do is, you could just click on a country, or more countries, and then subtract the biological footprint of this country, taken from a database. And what it would do is, it would show you the bioreserves that this country still has.
Этот проект был создан Джакобом Хаутманом. Вы можете найти его по адресу visualizing.org. Суть проекта в том, что вы кликаете на страну, которая вас интересует, и вам предоставляются данные, связанные с биологическими ресурсами и запасами этой страны. Все, чем она обладает на данный момент.
Okay. So, and the great thing about it is, it's really a very, very talkative, interactive map. So, for example, if you would click on the Netherlands and the United States of America, so you would see that if you would live in the Netherlands, if you would be a Dutch, that if you would go on like this, if you would just carry on like that, you would need 1, 2, 3.5 Earths to settle your needs. Whereas if you're an average American, you would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 Earths.
Достоинство этого сайта, этой карты в том, что она очень интерактивна. И вам, например, могут показать, что если вы житель Голландии и продолжаете жить так, как вы живете в том же духе, удовлетворяя свои потребности, потребляя ресурсы, то вам потребуется 3,5 земли для того, чтобы жить и дальше с таким же качеством жизни. Если вы гражданин США, то вам нужно использовать 4,5 земли.
Pardon me, sorry to interrupt you. Is it possible to open the windows, or we want to save the climate, maybe we can cut down heating.
Otherwise, there are 100 dead people here.
I don't know if it's possible. To turn down the heating, but we can at least open the windows.
I guess it would be too noisy.
But it's clean energy. It's like atomic energy.
Ah, right. We don't have that in Germany anymore, so it's right, you can have it.
You don't have atomic energy in Germany, I don't believe in.
Yeah.
Maybe in 100 years' time. For me, this is one of the most outstanding examples, in the field of agitprop, in the parliament of things, because even the most dumb person would realize that, if you go on like that, it simply doesn't work out. Whereas if you look at numbers, numbers are simply not that talkative. But if you look at the visual representation, you would figure quite easily what it's about, because every one of us knows there's just one planet left, yeah, which is, as we all know, Mars. Because, you know, we've already screwed up the Earth, but we still have the chance to terraform Mars and have a second chance there. But Mars is our only last chance, so if we just subtract one planet, we still have 2.5 or 3.5, which are simply exceeds our capacity.
Для меня, на самом деле, это выдающийся пример того, как работает визуализация, потому что, когда мы смотрим на цифры, они мало о чем нам говорят. Когда мы видим конкретно, сколько планет нам осталось, то тут что-то начинает шутить, да, что мы понимаем, что единственная наша возможность это Марс, да, и продолжать удовлетворять наши потребности, необходимые для жизни на какой-то другой планете. При этом мы понимаем, что у нас есть только одна Земля.
Okay, so not the range of the Earth, but the range of the... There is more examples I want to point you at, which I find really, really outstanding. And there were also two events in the field of the visualization of environmental data this year, which I found really, really outstanding, and both organized by a colleague of mine at Westminster University in London. His name is Tom Corby. Yeah? And his symposium in London was called Data Landscape, and I think under this title he did a panel at ICEA Istanbul 2011 as well.
В этом году, на мой взгляд, произошло два очень важных события, касающихся визуализации информации, инфографики. И оба они произошли в Вестминстерском университете, в котором работает мой коллега Том Корби. И он создал нечто вроде информационного ландшафта.
So, and I'll just switch to Firefox, because what I want to show you is that the great thing about these events is that you find all the talks and the projects online as well. Yeah?
Все его проекты можно увидеть онлайн.
But there's one project I want to highlight in particular.
Но один проект я хочу особенно подчеркнуть и рассказать.
So this is the ICEA project, which just took place on 17th of December, organized with Andrea Tolli, who is the author of The Far Field, yeah, one of the seminal books in that. But the project I want to point you at is this really, really fantastic project called oldweather.org.
Это фантастический проект, его организовал не только Том, множество известных коллег, которые книги об этом пишут. Он называется «Погода прошлого».
So you know that one of the problems of climate science is that we simply do not have enough data yet. Yeah? We still lack a lot of data. We still, I think, the data that tracks back about 100 years. Also only in we have only reliable data for Europe, North America, Russia probably, Moscow, St. Petersburg, but we don't have reliable global data that would be able to allow us to make predictions, because it's simply we would need to go back much further in time, yeah, to create reliable data.
Проблема современной науки, которая говорит о климате, в частности, о климатических изменениях, в том, что у нас очень мало данных. Мы оперируем цифрами, которые мы получали за последние 100 лет, и они адекватны только для Европы, России, может быть, Северной Америки. Мы не можем говорить о мире в целом и не можем отмотать, посмотреть на данные больше, чем 100 лет назад.
So, and this problem is addressed by this project called oldweather.org, which was set up by, I think, the City of London and a lot of very engaged scientists. And what is it about? You know, we all know that, you know, the British Navy, you know, has been conquering the world for the last 300 and 400 years. And the great thing about the British Navy is the following. So whatever they did, you know, whether if they were, you know, bringing liberty and democracy to other countries, whether if they were fighting or invading other countries, whether if they were, you know, pirating, commandeering ships, whatever they did, 6 times a day they were taking temperature, humidity and air pressure and taking it down into the logbook.
Проект был организован администрацией Лондона плюс учеными, которые были вдохновлены этим. И идея идет от того, что британский флот, который на протяжении 300-400 лет завоевывал разные страны, куда бы флот ни заходил, нес свою демократию или что-то еще, 6 раз в день на корабле заявлялись погодные условия, все, что связано с погодой.
Okay. So what these guys from Old Weather did is they set up this fantastic social website where you could sign up. You could, the way it works is basically, yeah, in an archive in London, in the city of London, we have these massive amounts of logbooks of the British, of the Royal Navy. But there's simply not enough money to digitize all this information because it's simply too much. And so what these guys did is they set up this website, and what they do is they just scan the pages and you could sign up, you know, and become a member of the page, you know. You could either, you know, become the captain of the ship, you know, just join one of the vessels, and what you would do is you would do a transcription, you know, a validation of data. So you would get the scanned page, and if 1, 2, 3 people approve on what they see on the data, then the data goes into the data set. So it's an equivalent validation.
Все это представляет собой некую социальную сеть, в которой можно зарегистрироваться. Беда в том, что в Англии, в Лондоне накопилось огромное количество судовых журналов, архивов, касающихся климатических погодных данных. Их невозможно все оцифровать, это очень сложно. И что делают ребята на этом сайте? Они сканируют просто страницы, связываются с судами, капитаны могут отправить все это на сайт. Если 2-3 человека подтвердили данные, которые туда приходят, они выкладывают.
So it's like help scientists recover worldwide weather observations made by the Royal Navy.
Таким образом, они помогают ученым.
And this is what they call citizen science. Yeah. So remember, we have talked about, you know, the parliament of things, and that it's important, you know, to not only represent, you know, the wrenched of the earth, but the wrenched earth as well. So to engage in the process as an activist, and the best way to do it is just to sign up for the website. You can do it from everywhere. You know, you can do it from your notebook, wherever you are, and if you just invest, you know, 20 minutes a day or half an hour a day, and if, you know, a couple of your friends join you, you know, it would be a major contribution to the project, and even a more major contribution to climate science.
Это все похоже на такое понятие, как гражданская наука, когда люди объединяются с тем, чтобы помогать ученым, и все это отлично вписывается в эту концепцию парламента вещей. Вы можете тратиться на это всего лишь 20 минут в день, но это неоценимый вклад в науку.
It's what they call citizen science, yeah, crowdsourcing, or like full economy. Yeah.
So I wonder whether they only evaluate the weather information based on the picture itself, or also on the data information. As if I watch that picture, how can I really say whether it was cold or warm?
No. The logbooks. The logbooks. What they have is they have the logbooks. They have the logbook of Captain Blackbird. You know, and if Captain Blackbird, you know, whatever they did, 6 times a day, the first officer just took down 6 times a day, and it's a fantastic bit. Just took down 3 values: temperature, humidity, and pressure. This is just the starting page. So this is, and this represents the vessel and the logbooks, all logbooks of the vessel that are processed at the moment. So you just get started, sign up, for example, for HMS Montagua, and then you would just participate in this great effort to just transcribe all these logbooks online. I think we're getting a sign. Am I already extending my time?
Yes, no. We have just 3 minutes.
I'll speed up. Yeah? I'll speed up. I'll speed up. We'll be very, very fast. I'll just take the slides in 10 seconds, and then we are for questions. Okay, so altweather.org. Also go back to this website, Data Landscape Symposium, and there you have this talk of these folks, yeah, speaking or introducing old weather. And you probably want to log on the website and just have a go. I take you up. This is something I also my students. I'm sorry.
Вопрос касался того, как все-таки они получают данные по погоде, о климатических изменениях. Заинтересовала картинка корабля, она ни к чему не относится, они читают именно страницы старых световых журналов. Они их просто переводят и эти данные переносят в общую базу.
Okay, and just to finish up very, very quickly, there's one movie I want to really point you at because it's really fantastic, and everyone involved in data journalism should see it. And you can find it on the datajournalism.stanford.edu. And it's like a video report. It has been done as a research project at the University of Stanford by Geoff McGee last year. It's the most comprehensive, best, sexiest video report in the field of infoviz and data journalism that has ever done. And my students have seen it. Did you like it? It's really fantastic. It's a fantastic movie, so please watch it. If you watch the online version, you get also additional information. So it's really a very good project. And another, well, I'll just skip through it. There's 2 valuable resources. You'll find lots of projects on data visualizations as well. It's visualcomplexity.org, and you might also want to look at an infostatics blog, which is like one of the several of the trendy magazines in this field. So, having said that, are there any questions?
Штефан предоставил вам примеры различных ссылок, все это вы можете посмотреть сами в интернете. Первый был видеоотчет об исследовании в Стэнфордском университете, студенты Штефана очень любят этот ролик. И другие ссылки, которые он только что показал, все они содержат в себе примеры визуализации экологической информации. А теперь ваши вопросы.
А ролик можно посмотреть? Вы можете включить свой ролик?
They want to watch this video now.
The whole, it's 1 hour, it's too long.
1 час.
But you could watch it at home. Yeah, it's 60 minutes. But you could watch it online. You can watch it online on the. And what you can also do. Yeah, what you can also do. I forgot to say that. What we're doing at the moment is we are setting up this study module on data journalism and visual information design at the university, and lots of this information, including these movies, online on our e-learning environment. Yeah? So if you want to have access to our files, to the data, but also presentations, whatever, you just drop your name and your email at Camilla probably, because I have to go because we have a class after the session. So just please drop your name and your email address, and we'll give you access to the folder, and you can just install the software and then access our stuff. But you can also watch it online.
Во-первых, вы можете дома это посмотреть, просто кино большое, 60 минут. Если вам нужны информация вот по этой теме, вы можете оставить имейл мне, и Штефан вам все перешлет, потому что это целый модуль связанный, да, вот то, что он преподает, связанный с визуализацией. И он все может писать по почте.
Are there more questions? There you go. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask you about some, the prediction of the situation, because it's as far as I know, in future, in 20 years, like the Earth is not going to be enough resources or place for the humanity. And these like diagrams you showed us about like the American lifestyle and about people like that, if the United States of America people living in the way they live now, like they in my age have 2 cars, like, and it's sort of an average. And what are we going to do with this? Because they will never abandon that lifestyle, and Europeans
well,
will.
Don't worry, the American empire is already collapsing. It's like Obama is like the American Gorbachev. So his job is basically to dismantle the empire. So you don't have to worry about America anymore. It's like other countries, they're just emerging, at the moment. So I think what we should do is, the key issue of environmental politics will be is like to raise awareness and to create efforts to create a global movement of parliamentarians of things.
But the amount of people is getting bigger, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, we probably have to terraform Mars. This is what I said. So our last chance is to get hold of the red planet.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't want to be too pessimistic, so there was this other question. I don't want to be, but I'm just being ironic, of course what we have to do is we have to change our lifestyle because we cannot go on like this any longer. But
yeah,
this is not, I don't have the final answer for that. If I would have the final answer, I would probably be the chairman of the European Green Party. Yeah?
Please, can you translate this to the audience yourself?
Вопрос. И вопрос и ответ. Я спросил, что мы будем делать с этой ситуацией, как мы выйдем на диаграмме, если, если американцы продолжат, и все те, кто хотят жить так же, как и американцы, на таком же уровне потребления продолжат это делать, то нам вскоре потребуется, 5 или сколько земель. И я спросил, что нам с этим делать, как мы будем с этим справляться. И поскольку население Земли увеличивается, и потребности увеличиваются, и все увеличивается, и никто не хочет ничего ограничивать. Но Штефан ответил мне, что нам не нужно бояться за американцев больше, потому что у них скоро будут большие проблемы в плане потребления и сохранения их уровня жизни, а всему остальному миру, на то, что я спросил его по поводу увеличения численности населения, он сказал, что похоже, один из единственных вариантов это осваивать Красную планету. Но также потом он добавил, что у него нет готового ответа и идеального ответа на все эти вопросы, и то, что если бы он был, Штефан был бы, не знаю, спасителем человечества. В такой иронизирующей, иронической, естественно, манере.
But I still want to make this argument, and I hope everyone understood that I was making a joke, because on the other hand, there are, the highest number, of environmentally aware people, live in the United States, and a lot of fantastic projects and like research projects, DIY projects, political projects have been kicked off in the US. So I'm not, it's of course it's a simplification. This is why I said it's like agitprop, it's like what they call positive populism. It's like just to create an awareness for the general problem. But they could as well have just, clicked Russia. Probably not here.
Я, конечно, шучу, и в Америке проводятся исследования на эти темы. Они, конечно, беспокоят этой проблемой, и людей предупреждают, пытаются обезопасить. Тем не менее, вот этот пример, как можно упростить информацию и доходчиво донести ее до людей.
Yeah, another question was, would you allow to make a small contribution to the answer regarding this question? Of course. There's a phenomenon in Germany currently. There is a lot of media coverage on, and that is basically that young people in a country with a lot of car industry and with cars having a cult status as a symbol of wealth, that young people are no longer interested in cars. They are interested in owning an iPad or an iPhone. As myself.
In Germany?
In Germany, but ignore the idea of having cars. They just don't think in these terms, and in major cities like Berlin and Hamburg there isn't only a great public transport system, but you can have a contract and get a car which is at the next corner. You just rent it for an hour or two, and this is a very successful system, and it just reflects that phenomenon that people just don't want cars anymore because in their daily life it's rather a burden than an advantage. And I think that happens in many Western European major cities, and I think it will spread. That I hope it will spread very soon all over the world. You have that in the States as well, in places like San Francisco, zip car systems. So I don't think that people even in the States think that they just want to own a car or two.
Yeah, but the problem in the United States is that the public transport system doesn't work properly, and even where it works, it's very likely that if you use it as a, say, girl or even as a guy at 10 o'clock in the evening, it's very likely that some crackhead would just stab you, you know, for $5. So, I mean, talking about San Francisco, so.
Yeah, and I think the other problem is like that, of course, in cities, like, I mean, I'm from Germany too, in Berlin, and in Hamburg, and Cologne, and Munich, there's maybe it's popular.
It's not Europe.
Yeah, but it's popular, but if you go to some smaller cities or even to the landscapes, like, to just, people who are not living in the centers, they need their cars, and so there is this whole transport system is not as much as the cities. Yeah, and that's the problem, like in the States, it's much bigger. Russia is much bigger, so it's not possible to build such a system here.
I think we are at the start of the development, and these are some facts which we can already extrapolate. My question is, what do you recommend young journalists? What practical skills do you recommend young journalists to learn? I mean, earlier young journalists learned skills mainly like writing, research, now they learn online research. But what about programming, data visualization skills?
Yes, exactly. A very, very, very important question. Well, what we are trying to achieve in our seminar is not in the first place turn young journalists into visual artists, because this is something we cannot achieve. But the most important skill would be what Lev Manovich, this media guru from Moscow who made it to the United States, software studies.com. So what he called data literacy. Yeah. So you're all aware that, you know, in the beginning of the 20th century, you know, with Ludwig Wittgenstein and other philosophers like structuralists, we had what we called the so-called linguistic turn. And in the 70s or the 80s, or, you know, at least at the arrival of the internet, we experienced what people like William T. Mitchell and other guys called the so-called the visual turn or the iconic turn. So we are living in an environment that is more and more sign-driven. And now that we're experiencing this explosion of data we have to handle, Manovich suggests the notion that we should develop at least something like a data literacy. You know, a way we should acquire skills and also encourage students to develop a data literacy, a way how to critically interpret and deal with data. And what we need, therefore, is like a minimum of knowledge, a minimum of statistical skills, but we also need a minimum of visual skills as well, as we're living in a visual age. So I think these are the two very important skills we should teach our students. We should encourage them to develop them further, because I mean, InfoWiz, it's like Vegas and Marcus Rottenberg, what they say is that InfoWiz is already becoming a mass medium, yeah, because it's like the front end of data society, of the data universe, like of cyberspace. You know, it's like the medium of cyberspace. You know, it's like the language of cyberspace. You know, and this is basically the world building.
Пожалуйста, здесь есть люди, которые не говорят по-английски. Переводите, пожалуйста.
Ah, sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I just was carried away.
Сначала участник добавил немного к ответу Штефану по поводу того, что спрашивал молодой человек, о том, что молодые люди в США якобы, да, престижно иметь там как минимум 2 машины. Вот он развенчал этот миф, сказал, что в частности в Германии молодежь сейчас не интересуется тем, чтобы обладать автомобилями, популярные айпады, айфоны, какие-то другие гаджеты. Тем не менее, есть развитая система аренды транспорта, и люди все чаще отказываются от личного транспорта. После этого был задан вопрос о том, что рекомендовать молодым журналистам, как им работать в поле экологической информации, какие самые важные навыки для них должны быть развиты. Штефан рассказал о том, что на своих семинарах главное, чему он учит, то, что можно назвать информационной грамотностью, грамотностью в поле знаков, визуальной информации, поскольку мы живем в эпоху именно визуальную, особенно с появлением интернета, и язык знаков во всем мире стал уже универсальным. Таким образом, с одной стороны, нам нужно развивать именно эту грамотность, с тем, чтобы критически интерпретировать информацию, представлять цифры и статистику, не только в виде букв, цифр, знаков, но делать важные выводы. Поэтому и второй важный навык, конечно, какие-то визуальные возможности, графический дизайн, да, потому что мы живем в обществе вот, знаков и информации.
Any more questions?
Is this you on Twitter looking now? Is this you on Twitter looking now? Do you use Twitter?
Well, I haven't used it for quite a while, actually.
Okay, but you have an account there.
I have an
okay,
account there.
so that's you. I wasn't sure the picture is so small.
Yeah, that's me. With a hat, probably.
Большое спасибо, Штефан. Thank you so much, Stefan.
Okay, thank you so much for I hope my students don't bunk off my class, you know, so we'll meet there in 10 minutes time for our seminar. You know, don't bunk off my class.
Thank you so much again.
Yeah. Very good seminar.